There were once these two children. The girl's parents would take her to the grocery store. Once a month, they would go to the cereal aisle and pick an ingredient on the back of a box. They would go home and study preservatives and additives. They taught her how to shop organic, antibiotic free, and even to look into the court filings of companies like Monsanto. She read the book You Are What You Eat and did activities like making her own hand soap and at-home laundry detergent. She learned about herbology, did her own cooking, and gardening was just a way of life. She would grow up to understand how to live healthy. The boy would have a different experience. He loved the cartoons, but never even considered the ingredients on the back of the box. Ate preservatives nearly every meal of his life, again and again and again. Every meal loaded with glyphosate and antibiotics. And when he grew up, he had all kinds of problems, but he didn't know why. And that's the education the average American gets. But you can give your kids the type of education that extends a lifetime. Check out my private homeschool community and my books on healthy eating, morality, free speech, the Second Amendment, and so much more. ClassicalLearner.com. In the modern world where there are small doses of toxins, we'll call them, in nearly everything people eat, it is more important than ever that we teach our children about healthy living. And to me, as a parent, this is a subject that you treat as seriously as math, as science, as history, as anything you're going to teach your kids, because teaching young people a healthy lifestyle is the gift that will literally extend their lifetime. And as a parent, I can't think of anything that touches closer to home that could be more important than teaching your children how to have a high quality of life. No one wants to see them get older and their body starts to break down and all of the different things that could happen. So to me, that starts with culture. And this is why, above all, I encourage families to do two things with your kids. And I know I'll get the people who talk about, well, what do I do if I'm in an apartment? What do I do? You can do this stuff anywhere. Is gardening and cooking. Now, if you're in an apartment, you might not be able to have a whole garden, but you could have a plant in the windowsill. You can grow a tomato plant right there in the windowsill. But hopefully you have a little bit more space. And anyway, you could always teach your children how to be creative. I mean, can you find a neighbor and ask them to allow your child to grow food at their house? And then they get some of the food, your child gets the work, you split it. There's so many creative ways, and these are great lessons you could teach your kids. But if they grow up in a culture where they're gardening and where they're cooking, then they have a leg up because they have a connection from a very young age with where their food comes from. So many young people don't know where their food comes from. And just by planting a seed in the ground, you can achieve that. It's one of the reasons the first unit study I ever created. It's awesome. It's a year-long unit study. The first unit study I ever created for Homeschools Connected was our year-long nature unit study where the children are actually gardening all year. It starts in January, goes all the way through December, where children are actually planting seeds and taking care of the soil, learning about soil biology, watering the plants, a whole year looking up planting zones where they're actually just gardening, because getting your children's hands in the soil is one of the best ways to help them develop a relationship with where their food comes from. And that's one of the greatest gifts you can give your kids. And toward the end of the year, with that nature unit study, the children actually harvest their crops and then they learn all about food preservation. So you start with the cooking. They pickle red onions. They learn how to vacuum seal. They learn how to smoke meat. They learn how to do all these various methods of food preservation. They learn how to take garlic and make it into garlic powder, how to make onion powder, how to make their own butter, how to make their own sourdough bread. Developing a relationship with their food. And you don't have to go to all these extremes like my nature unit study. You should, it's awesome. But get your kids in the kitchen from a young age. They love it. They want to participate. And just have them, there's safety knives you could buy where these are these special knives. You can look them up where if they accidentally hit their finger, it won't cut their finger. Really cool. You get them in the kitchen. You get them cutting up the onions. You get them participating, throwing the butter on the pan or throwing the pasta in the water, helping the water, turning the water on to a boil. And you're developing a relationship with your kids, between your kids and food and where their food comes from. And once they have a relationship with where their food comes from and what healthy food is, because we never want to scare them or get them in despair, we could start to teach them, okay, and now this is why we grow our food. This is why we cook our food ourselves rather than eat out. Or this is why when we shop, mommy and daddy always want organic. And you teach them what organic is. You can do that through my book, You Are What You Eat, my children's book. Shameless plug, but it's very good. I wrote it to help teach children these concepts. I actually have the second part of that book coming out right now, You Are What You Eat Part 2, which is all about GMOs and pesticides put into our food system. So then once they have a relationship with where their food comes from, you can start the process of teaching them why we need to eat the way we do. And you can do that by once a month, so it's only 12 times a year. You go to the grocery store with your kids. You have them pick out an ingredient on the back of a cereal box. You go home, you look up that ingredient plus side effects. Write the side effects down, write the name of the ingredient down, put it on the fridge. In 1 year, 12 months, 12 days, 12 assignments, they will get it for the rest of their lives. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? It doesn't take that much. But you do that and you could do all types of assignments from there. One of the things that I like parents to do is what I call a health swap assignment or the health swap series. Go under your sink and look at the ingredients in all of the cleaners and look up the side effects. And again, your children have already done this with the food. They'll be like, wow, this is bad too. And then all you do is you show them how to make their own organic, natural cleaner. You can use water, lemon, and thyme, is it? You can use tea tree oil, lemon oil. There's so many different things, natural disinfectants that you can use rather than those store-bought chemically driven disinfectants. You can go into the laundry room and look up the ingredients in detergents. You'll see again, they're not great for you. And then they could actually make their own at-home organic laundry detergent. You can do this with so many different things. Soap, shampoo, hand soap, and one by one, you're teaching them where the toxins are in the environment and how to shop to get around that, or how to make your own products to get around them. And you're arming them with the knowledge and the skill set they need to live the rest of their lives healthy. And of course, you want to incorporate working out. You want to get them in sporting teams. You want them to see you working out. That's very important because they learn from what you do more than what you say. By the way, with the Health Swap, I actually have lesson plans. I call it the Health Swap series, and it's all laid out for you. But teaching young people healthy living, teaching your kids healthy living is one of the most important things that you can do as a parent. It doesn't take much. It's just a mindset and a decision you have to make. Cooking, gardening, establish a relationship with food. Once the relationship with where food comes from is established, then we start to show them why we want to do things the way we do. We start showing them the ugly a little bit. They look in those ingredients, they learn about them, and you show them healthy habits, and your children will grow up knowing how to live healthy. And to me, that's one of the greatest gifts we can give them. One of the most important things we can do as a parent. That is the gift that extends a lifetime. www.classicallearner.com